time tabling, they should go and think about that aspect and create space. In fact, there are some athletes we have failed to take to participate even in international events because they have examinations or they have practical lessons. In fact, recently I was called to a university to talk to student leaders, but they postponed 4 times because they couldn't find time for that other aspect of students. So academic staff, academic programs should get a way of mainstreaming sports into the wider activities of the university. And that way, we shall know that we are talking about a student and sports in our universities.
Oh, that's wonderful. A hand clap for Mr. Kabagambe. Thank you very much, and bringing it out so nicely that much as we are focusing on the student, it has to be a holistic approach that all other facets of the universities also focus on this student athlete, you know, and create time for them. We've seen this. Some have missed exams, and they, you know, they say you'll do a retake next year. No one minds about the athletes. So we need to pay attention to that, and I think it is one of the issues that is coming out strongly. Related to that, Mr. Selano, there was a question here or concern from Mr. Mbambu. He said, FASU Games of June 22 coincided with the period the University of Nairobi students were out of session. The month of June in Kenya, in the Kenyan context, is a bad period in the Kenyan context. Is that okay? And of course, he says this in line with saying that the Kenya University Sports Federation supports, you know, all events. But the issue of timing, now we see it in universities, but also now at national level. What is your take on that?
Thank you very much, Vincent. I think the former or immediate past chairman I just talked about, president has talked about having no time for sports people when the university is in session. I think when we get time to do activities off academic session is the best time for us to take. December we are not in session, but we all of us coming here. One, because there are no academic programs, which means all our top athletes will be available. Now, FASU, not all of them, all the universities were in session. But at that particular moment, FASU had announced they're having the event like 2 years before. Universities have agreed, if you have an event, they can put your students in camp if you talk to them in advance. I remember Dr. Munai, when he hosted 2004 East Africa University Games, he had to talk to Senate to push the academic year by a week. You get so that they can get time to host. So that time, and at least for us in sports, the best time for us to engage our top athlete because we have all the time to train, prepare them, and then when they come for the games, they have no issues of, I missed an exam or I missed a class. So that's why even East Africa University Games is happening in December when there are no academic programs. So for me, I think most of the programs, if they're off the academic calendar, for us in sports, is the best time for us to engage them fully and be able to get the best out of the games and the best out of our students.
Thank you very much. Maybe that is something that has to be discussed, you know, further if the time is not convenient. But I think the principle there is that let us provide space for student athletes, okay, to be able to participate in these games. Mr. Selano, before I leave you, there is here a very interesting one. A request to avail electronic scoring system for, okay, Taekwondo. I think this is a different fora. This will be addressed tomorrow, isn't it? The technical rules for this will be for tomorrow. Yes. So, very good question, answered tomorrow. Suggestions to make Eastern African Games be a ranking game, that is for tomorrow, okay? This is from Tom. These issues can come up in tomorrow's meeting. Okay, Thank you. Now, Opal. Opal is a student ambassador, FISU. All right? He's also a student at Makerere University, representing the greater student body, and it's good to involve because whatever we are discussing here is about them. I will ask you a question, Opal. Do you feel tutors, top management are doing enough to promote sports, to engage students fairly?
Thank you so much, moderator. I feel that top management and university sports tutors are really doing a great job, but then there needs to be more focus on student involvement in the universities, in the federations that we come from, these respective federations. Usually, student involvement is always looked at last. This comes down to the federations that we come from. Let's say forming the executive committees in the respective universities, federations. The student leadership is always looked at as a minority. Yet these students are the ones that know what really takes place in the field. They're always the ones outside there. I feel students should be brought on board. There should be more student involvement in terms of leadership as well in the universities and also in the federations. Let's not only look at the university sports tutors, but as well these students. They really form an integral part of university sports. As a FISU student ambassador, one of my roles is to promote the university sports movement. And it's us, the students, that really drive university sports. Just like us who are attending here, if it weren't for the students, we would not be here, would not have a conference. But we would want to have more student involvement in leadership as well, in these universities, in the games union departments, in the federations that we come from. Let's not only look at them last, but first priority. Even if it comes to, let's say, conferences, education forums, let's always recommend our students, because in future they're the ones that will drive the universities, the federations when we are not here. That's in a general term of the sports tutors. Give them exposure to learn the knowledge in these, let's say, conferences, in, let's say, education forums. I've been recently undertaking a course in advanced sports management at Uganda Olympic Committee, and one of the chapters that we really study here is managing human resources, and students form a great part of the human resources in these universities as well. If we can utilize them well, they will really run the universities in future when we are not here. They really contribute a lot to the universities as well. Let me just give an example of FISU. Right now, there's the FISU Volunteer Leaders Academy, where I'm a FISU student ambassador for Uganda. But you find when, let's say, East Africa or Africa, we have few participants in this academy, and yet this is a place where everyone converges. These student leaders, they're exposed here. This is where they get opportunities. And it's from these opportunities that they bring back the knowledge to our universities and the federations, and they contribute a lot. It always pains me having more Europeans in, let's say, FISU Volunteer Leaders Academy, and yet here in Africa we can dominate. Okay. Yes, we can dominate. Recently, the FISU Volunteer Leaders Academy has been happening online. If we could send in our representatives, it's from where? It's from the Volunteer Leaders Academy where we get these other opportunities that as universities and federations can tap from to benefit us all. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Emmanuel, for that elaborate response. Of course, pointing in the direction of students being at the center of university sports, focusing on them, but also allowing engagement with them to help them grow into the ranks and eventually be leaders. These are the believers of tomorrow and so forth. But speaking of that, I turn to George, who was once a student leader, and now he's a sports tutor and technical director of house, and of course doing very many other things, good things with the Olympic Committee and so forth. George, tell me, to what extent do you engage students in Chambogo specifically in decision making as you build or prepare them for major events?
Thank you, Vincent. Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor for us to be here. In Chambogo University, where I work full-time, students are engaged 100%, I would say. Of course, for us as administrators, the event organizers or the owners inform us of the event. And then we have to sit and plan. So ideally, I'm aware as a sports tutor that there will be an event, for example, next year, where we have national games in Makerere, and I've already started planning for that. So I started planning for the Ndege Games as early as January this year. But as you know, as the calendar year flows, we always have some some interferences here and here, which are unavoidable. For example, in our case, you'll know that the financial year normally comes to an end June, then you have to go into July. So it's very important to prioritize first and foremost what events you'll be participating in. We have what we call the Games Union in Chambogo, which is a student body with a chairman who is a student. So we normally have to communicate to them what event is coming up and what we plan and intend to execute as a university section in charge of sports. Sometimes we have budgetary constraints where we might find ourselves like we cannot take everyone. We can't take every sport. That is affecting us right now, even for the Ndege Games, where I had a discussion with the members of top management and thought I would make a very good presentation to have at least all the teams represented. But management says because of budgetary issues, we have to cut down on the numbers. And like I was telling, I think Collins and Florence, at least we've managed to do that. We have quite a big number that will be coming, and they are already preparing for that. And I want to, I hope I'm right, but by end of next week, we should have cleared our payment for the Ndege Games. Hopefully,
that is wonderful.
Making us the first university to pay.
Yes. Okay.
But you can't leave the students out, whether you like it or not. The students have to be involved, because without them, you can't play. The university can't participate. So the Games Union is a very key component in the administration and the management of the sports section within the university.
Okay, thank you very much. And of course, we know Chambogo is one of those old universities that participate very actively. So when you tell me what you're saying, I'm just confirming that Chambogo is good. All right, now let me turn to Mr. Muhumza, the Dean of Students, Ndege University, who is our host, if I'm not mistaken, the village mayor. The university games I want has been presented, and the picture has been painted of people's expectations. How prepared is Ndege?
I would like to apologize. My gadget is off, but I think I'm audible enough. It is off. It's on.
Back.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. All protocol observed. I would like to, first of all, appreciate Ndeje University management. I think among the top managers, it's only the university secretary that is not present today. Can I humbly request my bosses to stand up for recognition? We have the Vice Chancellor, Professor Lugujo, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Dr. Kakembo, the Finance Manager, Mr. Paul Makayongo, and the Academic Registrar, Dr. Mary Wanda. With that supportive top management, it is not by coincidence that Ndeje University is #2 in Africa, #1 in East Africa, and #1 in Uganda when it comes to university sports. Actually, I remember the discussion started with Senior Kabagambe about Senate exams and so on. At Ndeje, when we find out that a tournament will happen next year around December, we present such issues in Senate. Actually, I'm glad to mention that the academic registrar, when she was coming out with the academic almanac of the university, she came up with the examination timetable starting around early November. So come to the 3rd week of November, we shall not have a single student at campus except for the participants. You get it? So it has been a hassle, of course, for sports scientists, sports administrators, engaging in battles with the academicians, because the academicians are saying the main reason of having students at campus is academics. And we, the sports administrators, are saying, no, we are supposed to give these students a holistic what? Education. You get it? I remember it was, I think, 2 years ago when I received a form in my office from National Council of Higher Education. And very interesting questions on that paper. How many sports facilities do you have for basketball? I said, what? So even National Council of Higher Education is interested in sports? So as far as Ndeje University is concerned, we are ready for the games in December. Of course, we got some challenges. The government had promised substantial support when it comes to sports upgrading, which has delayed a bit. So we have adopted Plan B. Those of you who will be visiting Ndeje tomorrow, you will be looking at our Plan B. But I must say, at least we have covered 70% of what is required, especially in the area of sports facilities. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Muhumza. Again, he has a wealth of experience in sports management. So we are looking forward to Ndeje tomorrow. There's a question here which referred to Mr. Celano. It goes, what's the potential of FEUSI's positive impact on NUSUFS as an oversighting entity? Sounds very academic, eh? But I know you will. What is the potential of FEUSI's impact, positive impact on NUSUFS?
I think it's a good question, given that if you listen to Professor Onywera and you listen to Dr. Mnai speaking, they talked about us pulling in different directions when they're supposed to be complementing one another. Now, we could not host games in Uganda without us telling us, yes, you have the permission, and this is a person who this is a university supposed to host. Now, what happens is that us, now, because all of us come from different countries, FEUS is able to make some follow-up when we are not there to find out what Ndeche is doing. So working with NUSUF in terms of hosting FEOS games is one thing that we cannot rule out. It's very important because we are not saying we want to oversee what they do. You know, that's far from it. We are saying we just want to recognize that there is kind of protocol that we can follow for NUSUF and FEOS to work hand in hand to make games successful. Remember, we are not working for students. FEOS doesn't have students. Neither does NUSUF have students, but individual universities that have students, but through their NUSUF and through FEOS, FASU to the World University Games, those organizations are the ones that put policies that help certain events happen. So it's very important for us not to look at NUSUF and FEOS as competitors. Far from it. We're just people who need to complement one another and be able to give us history of what's happening in your very country. I don't come from Uganda. We relied on ours to give us a lot of information about Ndeche. We thought Ndeche was a small university. When we visited, the management was so elated to host these games, and when we moved around, we saw facilities and what they are doing, and we were like, far from it. You know, they can host. It doesn't mean that only the big universities can host this particular whatever. But that came from us. Okay. Yeah, that recommendation. So it's very good for us to work together so that we make these events better and we improve them for the betterment of our students.
Right. Thank you very much. That is still further painting the picture of the university sport event that I want, and we have been told it should be exceptional, meaning the key stakeholders, FAUS, AUS, and EJ, and all the universities have to work together. Let me turn to Mr. Kabagambe. Again, drawing from your experience, AUS has always managed to take huge delegations to major events. Now, even if it is East African Games in Dodoma, you would see House members, okay? What do you think is done right for this to happen? And what do you think can be done better to even improve? Yes, you're on.
I was waiting for
Florence.
Florence to put it on. I think to me two things have happened without any doubt. And since morning, we have had people being appreciated, even from the commissioner, the former commissioner here, that even the policies we have in this country were made by people from universities, the legends of sports administration, and the names were made here. Penina is here, Vincent is here, and others. So these are the people who have been in this thing for a long time, and they know what to do. So I would say, and this question is here, I would say that the sports administrators here have been very, very keen in organizing sport, and they know what to do. The second aspect is that the majority of the bigger percentage of the delegations that House takes out are from two categories. They are either from the old universities here in Uganda, where incidentally those people are also working, but who also have, so to speak, a bigger financial muscle. And the second aspect has come from the private universities who I think identified sports as a niche in establishing their institutions, and they put it ahead or maybe among their priorities. So now when you combine those three, good sports administration, financial muscle of the older universities, and the newer universities which identified sport as a leading identifier of their institutions, then it makes it easier for us to move. These things could be applying also in other institutions, but when we cross borders, there are issues, and we will find that when we are in Kenya, we have more participation in Kenya because of financial constraints. When we are here, we have more Ugandans. But I think Ugandans, AUSI, we working through their institutions, have been really very, very active. That is my perspective.
Okay, thank you very much. And you give me another framework to think through, that the combination of public universities being able to work, okay, together can promote sports in Uganda. The combination of the two. That could be a good research area, academicians, to try and see what really works out for Uganda. Okay, I have one more last question for Mr. Oppo. Is that just a quick one, really? Do you have any plans of bringing together the sports leaders, student leaders, and sensitize them about the importance of championships, participating in the Eastern African University Games, and so forth?
Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. Of course, I've always had that in plan. Even before I became a FISU student ambassador, I realized the importance of the need to have more students taking part in championships, events, and games. And of course, it's in my plans as a FISU student ambassador of Uganda to bring these different students and sensitize them, just like you've talked about, to take up all these opportunities as well, and to always engage in events, not only in Uganda, but the region as well, since FEUS is a regional body. East Africa, I've always done this sensitization, and it's still ongoing, and we hope we shall have more student involvement in events, in leadership, students taking up these different opportunities. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. The panelists have done so well. We've picked a lot of ideas. How I wish we had more time, but in the interest of time, we have to bring it to a close. Maybe I'll just ask 10 seconds of a final word, starting from Mr. Muhumuza.
For starters, I would like once again to appreciate everyone in this hall. Can we clap for ourselves? I know a group of our brothers and sisters traveled across the borders. We thank God for the journey mercies. We would like to appreciate the local organizing committee. Would like to appreciate the keynote speaker today, Dr. Gunta. We would like to appreciate our Minister of Sports for having squeezed some time. So mine is thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. And God bless.
Thank you very much. George?
On my part, I want to appreciate Ndeje University for organizing this event and organizing the games. I am sure, I want to be sure that Ndeje is going to host us, and we are going to have exceptional games. I've been in Ndeje so many times as a student and also as an administrator, and I love the environment there. I want to encourage all of us who are here and our other colleagues who have not been able to make it today, to make it a point to be in Ndeje. Let's hit the 4,500 athlete number in December.
Okay, thank you very much. George, Mr. Opa, just 10 seconds.
Actually, it's really a great opportunity and honor to be part of all these people. I've been a student athlete, but right now I'm here representing all the students in the region, and it's really a great honor to be here. And I would like to encourage the university sports tutors and all the representatives of universities to really have more sense of inclusivity of students in the leadership of these universities. And
Us, we will mess up the games. And when you go to Ndeche and you found out probably some facilities are not over, they always said that they were waiting for the government grant. But again, we should have at least paid to support them to do something with the money. So when you guys go back, try as much as possible to facilitate yourselves. I'm bringing 216 students, and I think in between next week or sometimes I'll do that. So when you go back, please facilitate them, because that money is to help them organize a good event for us. Thank you very much, and thank you very much, Ndeche.
Thank you very much, Mr. Selano Boniface. Yes, and now finally, Mr. Kabagambe.
Thank you very much. I want to join my colleagues in thanking Ndeje and everybody for putting together what we now see and what we anticipate to see in December. For me, I'm particularly happy because Ndeje University was identified at the tail end of our term of office when I was still president. And we went into COVID, and somewhere in the middle, we are not very sure that things would happen. Because when COVID ended, everything started a new direction. I am very happy that we kept in the same direction, and the leadership of Ndeje picked up this project, and it seems to be going very well. I want to appeal to everybody that at this stage we should support everything that is on the ground. Anything that should be coming should be encouragement and addition to what is already on the ground, and we expect good results. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for all our panelists. Thank you very much. You can kindly resume your seats. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We've now come to the final part of our symposium today. And the program for this segment, we are going to have a wrap-up and remarks by the FEUS Education Committee Chairperson represented. And then we shall give out some gifts to the presenters. And then we shall finally have closing remarks from a very special guest hosted by the local organizing committee to this event. I'll be introducing our special guest at the right time. But at this juncture, may I invite Mr. Otieno Riaki, the one in charge, the oversight from FEUS, is our boss, for the local organizing committee for this symposium. Okay, so he's been our boss from FEUS, and he comes from Kibabi University. Mr. Otieno, you're welcome for the wrap-up.
Thank you.
the Vice Chancellor, Denje. The Vice Chancellor, Denje University, Vice President, Madam Penina, President Fiaus, Dr. Munai, our distinguished guest, and all protocol observed, good evening. I would like to take this opportunity to appreciate Denje University for facilitating this program, our facilitators for making the day, and all our participants. I would like to highlight that from our participants, from our facilitators, you have posed a challenge on us on some of the issues. As education committee, we are going to work hand in hand with our member institution, FIAUS member institution, sports officers, games tutors, and all those who have interest in sports. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Lugujo, challenged us that sport is a determiner of life. And on that context, we are going to ensure that we achieve the goal by doing a lot of research on issues of health, well-being, sports as a profession, and sports as a competition. I hope and believe that next time we'll still knock on your door to help us, to help facilitate the research program on whatever, on the topic that you have given us. We have also highlighted our able minister for State Sports Department. He challenged us that can we make a sport as a profession whereby we utilize from the age of 13, that's a podium ready athlete from the age of 13. Can we utilize that potential of our youths on sports? We will work hand in hand with researchers to ensure that we come up with something as FIAUS. Among other things that we have noted on education that is going to help the education committee is empowerment of teachers, coaches, and all those people who are handling sports, not necessarily coaches and teachers. There are some universities where they don't use sports professional, and instead the sports is under a certain docket. We'll ensure that we equip our member universities with correct knowledge. So we are working tirelessly and hand in hand with our member universities to organize more a symposium and research conferences. Our president, Dr. Munai, in his remarks, he said that numbers are asset and population is resource. Professor, we hope and believe that the numbers that you have in these universities
we shall be, from next year, we shall be hosting and rotating from university to university, and it is a sole responsibility of our member university to host for us a research conference so that we can also attract funding. A professor at Kenyatta University, the DVC research, you challenged us that you have 50 million for research. We also challenge you that be the first to bid for hosting a research conference, because sports minus new knowledge, then we are doomed. So we challenge you, instead of bidding for hosting another game, bid to host research. I would like to take this opportunity to invite and appreciate one of our colleagues whom we have been working with. Mr. Hamilton is the CEO of our event. Hamilton, karibu. We have worked hand in hand with Hamilton to ensure that the education program goes successful, and Hamilton has been very vital. Hamilton, karibu. As we wind up, Hamilton will guide us on how we can get our certificate of participation. Hamilton, karibu. I would like to take this opportunity to invite Vincent back to guide us on how we are going to get our certificate of participation. Otherwise, let me take this opportunity to thank you all, our participants, the Vice Chancellor Denje for sponsoring this event, Fiauz for working hand in hand with the Vice Chancellor to sponsor this event, and we are looking forward to ensure that we give you quality research and innovation conference next time we invite you. Thank you and feel welcome. Karibu.
Okay, so we are getting to the close, ladies and gentlemen. Would like to do a few things. Number one, we are going to recognize by presenting a gift to all our panelists for the day, to all the presenters for the day. And then at the end, I will invite our special guest to come and speak to us. And then we shall have a closing prayer. But on this note, I would like to invite, with all humility, the president of FEUS, Dr. Simon Monai, to come and help present these gifts to these categories. So I would like to invite Mr. David Kasasa. Mr. David Kasasa, okay, as he comes, Mr. George Wagogo. This is to say thank you for the time that you've put in. Mr. Opal, Emmanuel. Yes, Mr. Kasasa, you can come through. Thank you, Mr. Kasasa. Whenever we call upon you for advice, you always come in. We appreciate. Thank you. The photo. Opal, Emma, please. As Mr. Muhumza Wilfred also prepares to come. Mr. Muhumza, and this category, Mr. Siriako Kabagambe. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Kindly take your seat. And now I'd like to invite the Vice Chancellor and DJ University, Professor Eria Blugujo, to please come and hand over these presents. Thank you. Now to the presenters. We start with Dr. Simon Monai. That is a special package, Ndeje at 30. Yes. Mr. Paul Mark Kayongo. And Professor Vincent Onywera. Professor Vincent Onywera also has a gift to hand over to the Vice Chancellor. So maybe I will allow him to receive his first, then hand over. Then Mr. Patrick Sebuliba. Then Miss Joan Auma Adal. And the final one is to Mr. Sebugwao. Maybe Florence can receive this on behalf of Mr. Sebugwao, because she's in charge of the secretariat. Mr. Sebugwao. No, I said in charge of the secretariat. Thank you very much, Professor. Yes. Okay, before I invite our special guest, I just would like to recognize a few people. Tomorrow, we are at Ndeje University, and we are going to be in the hands of the president of the local organizing committee of the FEUS Games. And allow me to recognize the presence of Dr. Frederick Kakembo. So tomorrow we are with him. That's why I've not given him an opportunity to say anything. He has to reserve energy for tomorrow. Yes, but you see the team is good, yeah? So be encouraged. The pick-up for the delegates traveling to Ndeje is at Kampala, Ndeje University, Kampala campus in Mengo. Okay, we shall send that information properly, okay, at the right time. Now, to recognize the local organizing committee for this symposium. Is that okay? Just to people to stand and we know who has been behind the scenes. As members, we have had Mr. Semanda Collins. Is he still around? Yeah, Collins is the senior public relations officer of Ndeje University and is done so well on communication. Thank you very much. We have Mr. Bagwerenze, David. David, please come a little closer, David. Can we clap for David, members? David has been in charge of the money, and I think he has done a good job given the services. Thank you very much. If there are any members that still have to register, let us know. In charge of welfare, Mr. Muhumuza Wilfred, the Dean of Students in Ndeje University. Please, let's clap for these members. They have done such a wonderful job. Then, Mr. Paul Mark Kayongo, as a great advisor on the local organizing committee. Yes, we had some deep discussions on, okay, very good. In charge of the secretariat, Miss Florence Nakamia. Please clap for this lady. Yeah, even when she's not happy, she smiles. Now, don't say when she's smiling, she's not happy. Thank you very much, Florence. Then from FEUS, the oversight, our boss has been Mr. Otieno. And thank you for the guidance and advice. We've worked, Mr. Hannington Musoke, the CEO, working with us closely. Thank you very much. And I've been the chairman of the LOC. It is difficult to talk about yourself, isn't it? Yes, Vincent Kisenyi. So thank you very much. We appreciate the management. We appreciate the local organizing committee, Ndeje, for all the support, and we appreciate the staff support, and we appreciate all of you. Thank you for turning up in such big numbers and standing in. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity. Let me make sure I get it right. Sorry, where did I put the card? Okay. Okay. So, two final things. With games, all committees that are formed for games, the general secretary is always an ex-official. So, to our LOC, Mr. Brian Miron Suvuga was an ex-official. Stand up, Brian. Okay, he has raised his hand, okay. And finally, VC, with all humility, there's one very special person that we have to award a present to, and I would like to invite you to give out this particular one. We are lucky that with us we have the Vice President of FISU, who is also the President of House, Ms. Penina Kabenge. Please come and receive a prize from the Vice Chancellor. She was looking at you.
Actually, she was looking at my gift.
Yeah.
Now I'm ready.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you very much, Professor. So, if you're eyeing becoming a vice chancellor, you should stand near a vice chancellor. So, I don't know the strategy. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special visitor amongst us who's really going to close our symposium today. She is a partner with us in very many ways. Allow me to invite Ms. Farida Wamala, the Senior Sales Executive at Qatar Airways. Ladies and gentlemen, may we welcome Ms. Farida Wamala. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kisenyi. It's very good to attach faces to the names because most of you in this room have either interacted with you directly, maybe on phone, maybe through your favorite travel agents, maybe through your contacts, like reaching out, change this, do this for me, asking all sorts of questions regarding travel. So it's good that I'm seeing the faces in this room, finally. Thank you very much for this opportunity, Ndeje University. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Lugujo, and other professors present in this room, I recognize you. The Deputy VCs, the Executive of FIUS, the FISU President, Madame Penina. Finally, I'm in the same room with Madame Penina. Though I've transported her 1 trillion times. But today, we are in the same room. The sports administrators and managers from all East African universities present in this room, and all dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Can I say good evening once again? Good evening. Yes, I like to feel that energy because I know you're sports people, and that forms part of the energy that you carry around, isn't it? I go by the names of Farida Wamala, and I work with a company called Qatar Airways. I'm the senior account manager of the company. Like I mentioned earlier, some of you have been on Qatar Airways, as in you have traveled with us. Some of you maybe haven't. But why I'm here is to invite you along. I know in your day-to-day lives, be it personal, be it official, you do travel, isn't it? So, apart from Africa intercity connections, we do much of international travel. I know you're having the East African Games coming up soon. We were approached by Ndeje University. Thank you very much, Mr. Kayongo. Collins, I can't see you. Florence, Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak to this audience. Basically, we are in the business of transporting people and their luggage safely. Ladies and gentlemen, safely, as in you arrive with your luggage the same time when your luggage is intact on Qatar Airways. We do have quite a number of products, but for the sake of this audience this evening, I'll only talk about three. Because by the virtue of the fact that you are frequent travelers, we have a loyalty club. Yeah, so if any of you has not registered for our loyalty club called Privilege Club, please remember to always, when you choose, and I encourage you to choose Qatar Airways, to register so that you accumulate those miles which are redeemable in so many ways that I will not go deep into this evening. And then for the sake of the students, because this symposium, you are planning for the upcoming games involving students. Even us at Qatar Airways, we have factored in students. How? We have what we call a student club. And while you are taking students to participate in the various games, and I've had various previous speakers talk of professionalizing sports, and that is where I get very excited, because I know many of the sports personalities that we have been to universities, they have been made there. So they are always up in the air, they are traveling. So I'm seeing a nurturing of professionals henceforth, isn't it? So when you think of traveling with those professionals, when the time comes, please think Qatar Airways. Yeah, because we cover more than 150 destinations currently, and we are still growing. So it doesn't hurt making that phone call, sending me that email, or even visiting our offices and checking from us. Do you go to this direction? Do you go to this country? Be it you have a group, be it individual, please feel free, pop in and find out from us. We will surely, if we don't go there directly, we will still find a way of taking you there, because we interline with so many other airlines around the globe. The student club in particular is a new thing, and it's very exciting. How? It is giving students an opportunity, especially the ones that are traveling for further studies, the ones that are traveling to participate in sports events, an opportunity to earn discounts whenever they are traveling. So what discounts am I talking about? Discount is one word that is always at the tip of all our tongues, isn't it? Be it in the market, give me a discount, give me a discount. Sometimes you even ask for a discount from a roadside vendor. Give me a discount. She's selling maize, but you still want to take 4 for the price of 6, isn't it? So we are talking discounts, ladies and gentlemen, to benefit the students, which ends up benefiting the parents. Because the students are not their own sponsors, isn't it? The universities sponsor them, their parents sponsor them. So we are talking of from 10% all the way up to 20%. The discounts are progressive. If they purchase tickets, the ones that are going for further studies, the first ticket, they will earn a 10%. The second, they will earn a 15%. The third, they will earn a 20%. And what's more exciting about this is basically they are allowed to invite companions along. For example, the student is going for further studies, masters in say, UK, University of Kent, University of Cardiff, whichever university, University of Bristol, thank you, Professor. So any university. Some parents are like, first-time traveler, I'll go with my son, I'll go with my daughter. The student is allowed to invite along a maximum of 3 companions, and they equally enjoy the discounts. So why am I talking about this? Because I know you deal with students. Yeah? And when it comes to those groups, I am very much aware that you'll be having the FISU World University Games coming up in Chengdu next year. Please think Qatar Airways as you're planning. For my friends that have come from Kenya, from Dar es Salaam, I don't know whether there's anyone from Rwanda, because I mean this is East Africa. Please, we have offices in all those countries. Think Qatar Airways. Yeah, we will surely take you safely. Because when you approach us and you have a group, and when you're talking of a group, we mean 10 people and above. And I know many of the universities are going to have 50, 60 and above people traveling. We will surely get you some good discounts, which I know you are very interested in. I know you've been here since morning. Some of you checked in last evening, and you've had a long day, and you still have more activities coming up tomorrow, so I don't want to take much of your time. But I wish to encourage you to think Qatar Airways, which will in the end give you exceptional travel experience. We want to be in the theme that Ndeje University has come up with. Exceptional games, exceptional travel. Come next year and anytime you think of traveling with Qatar Airways, because we sell a travel experience, not just the ticket. So that said, thank you very much for the opportunity, Mr. Kisenyi, and my friends, Mr. Kayongo, Colin, Florence, once again, I would like to declare the symposium closed. May the good Lord that transported all of you here safely take you back safely. Journey mercies and have a good evening.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Wamala, for the assurance that we can fly Qatar, and it is an experience, not a ticket. So I can see there are very many people here who fly frequently, like Brian and others, so that is very good. May I invite Mr. Gunter, our keynote speaker, to receive his present from our special guest today. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, Mr. Muhumza, please kindly come and lead us in a word of prayer. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much.